Okay, welcome everybody. This is kind of one of the live training webinars and Q&A that I was going to run to go along with the SEO 101 videos that we just put out. So looks like we got a pretty good crew already hopping on. We're going to kind of just play this by ear as far as format goes. I would imagine there'll probably be some stuff that is going to work best if I diagram it. So I've got a drawing program, the one that I use to actually make the videos, opened up, and in all likelihood, what I'll probably do is just, yeah, I've got a good screen share sound check going there. So in all likelihood, what I'll do once we start getting some questions coming through, I'll probably just do a screen share and go over to that so that the video will actually have that diagram in place. So let's see who we got on, if I missed any questions here real quick. Got Derek, that's from earlier today. Derek, Jeremy. Good to hear that people are liking what I put out. Julian McHale, PJE, and Keith. All right, cool. All right, so what would you guys like to know more about? If you don't have any specific questions, more than happy to just kind of do some kind of scenarios or run-throughs or something like that. If it'd be helpful, I can always answer questions specific. If you might have something about the way anchor text works, over optimization works, all that kind of thing, more than happy to go over that. But as much as anything, we just wanted some more material and some more kind of FaceTime with people who are kind of, for whatever reason, either new or stuck, or they haven't really applied themselves and kind of gotten over that hump as far as what it actually takes to rank. So what it really comes down to, getting your URL, your title tags optimized, and making use of backlinks. It really doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. If you get those three things right, in all likelihood, you're going to rank for about anything you want to. If you get them wrong, you're going to struggle. You're going to get confused about what actually works. One of the tough things with SEO, especially with the way the Google algorithm works right now, is that the feedback loop is actually pretty long. So if you make a change to your site, you may not see results for 2 to 3 weeks. So it's important to actually get it right, so that you know that 2 to 3 weeks rolls around and you're actually going to see improvements in rankings, as opposed to scratching your head and wondering, if the effects haven't taken place yet, or you actually just did something wrong. All right, got something here from Julian Smith about link building. Absolutely, Julian. If you got any more details on that, I'd love to know kind of what you're thinking. But why don't we go ahead and just pull this up, and if nothing else, I can just kind of piddle around here and looking for the screen share button for that application. All right, cool. Looks like that's in place. I'll make sure that it goes through and goes live. It looks like we are good to go. Okay, so let's, I'm actually maybe going to see if I can pull up one of the actual slides that we had for actually, I'm not sure if we pulled that up or not. Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll just go ahead and do this. Okay, so we've got a money site, and let's just say that we're going to try to build this website on HTTP www.window repair Scottsdale.com. Okay, let's go make this bigger so we can all see it. Okay, so this is the website that we've got. What I typically do, and this is kind of just going back and going over when I start building a site up, what I'll typically do is to go in, get this site set up, get WordPress installed on it. I'll usually use something like vKraken or vSilo. Those are each WordPress plugins from Network Empire. I'll use them to build this site up pretty quickly. One of the nice things that this does is because these embed videos, what happens is with those videos embedded on that site, this site and all the URLs that get built will get indexed very, very quickly. That's one of the things I like to do to kind of speed the process up as much as possible, is to get videos embedded on each and every one of the pages on my money site that I want to build and rank for. So in this case, we're just going to take it as a pretty simple process where the keyword, the main keyword that we want to go after here is window repair Scottsdale. Okay, so once I've got this put together, because it is an EMD, but not just because, but it's even more, I think, important to get some of this stuff going before you build a ton of links to it, is to get a couple social profiles set up. We're just going to do this. We're going to call this, we're going to call it Facebook. Whoops. Biz page. Okay. For window repair Scottsdale. Say okay. So that's going to be a Facebook page for that. You can essentially set the same thing up over here. Maybe make this a Twitter. It's okay. And so what this is going to start doing is it's going to start essentially kind of branding our website to be a business name. So window repair Scottsdale can be a keyword. It can also be a business name. So this is one of the first things I like to do before I really start building links. This piece of software here will get the pages indexed. This type of thing will start getting even more pages indexed and start kind of some link flow. Most of the time these are no follows, so you don't have to worry about anchor text too much on that. But then when I come in with a PBN link, you can come directly at the main money site right here. And we're just going to call this PBN. Say PBN A. And then anchor is going to be, let's just, but what I do a lot of times, my very first link is naked, which means I don't put any anchor text in at all, especially with EMDs like this. Whoops, I erased the whole thing. So let's just say PBN A is going to have this as anchor. Okay, so now my first anchor text, get this connected in there, actually has all my keywords in it. Okay, it's got window repair Scottsdale right there. But because it's a naked URL, it doesn't have any technical anchor text in there, but it's got all my keywords. After that, you can usually come in with another one to the exact same URL here. It's going to be from a different PBN, of course, but we're going to have anchor text is going to be window repair Scottsdale. Whoops. And then the target's going to be this. Okay, so let's go get this out of the way. I don't know why these aren't snapping to. They're not. So we're going to go ahead and build this link here. Okay, so now let's talk about this just really quick. So what's going to happen is once Googlebot winds up landing on this PBN site, okay, it's going to go down through your article, you know, that's about window repairs until it finds the link, okay? And then this link, this first one, is going to just have the target. So it's going to say, oh, okay, I was on an article about window repairs. I found this article or this link going to this other website. So I'm gonna go over there and see what this website's about. So this website happens to be about window repair Scottsdale. So right there, you've got a pretty clear, essentially, signal for Google to say, oh, okay, not only was this content about window repairs, but this other site is about window repairs, and it looks like also Scottsdale, Arizona, is a geographic location that this business may be set up to cater to. Okay, so then same thing's going to happen here when Googlebot gets on this site. It's essentially going to read the same article or a different article. It's going to read the article the exact same way. It's going to find the link, and this link is going to say, hey, window repair Scottsdale. Okay, so that's essentially like, when I talked about in those videos, it's like a map. And at the end of this link is supposed to be content now about window repair in Scottsdale. That's what anchor text means. It says at the end of this link, you're going to find more content about this keyword. So in a situation like this, what we are able to do then is to say, okay, window repair Scottsdale is what you're going to find at the end of this link. This link actually goes to windowrepairscottsdale.com. Not only is this a keyword that people are going to likely type in, but it also can legitimately be a business name. We've got the EMD here. We've got this set up as a potential brand name. And so we don't have to be quite as careful as we normally would with an EMD if we treat things as a brand as opposed to an EMD. I actually don't like the terminology with EMDs. I think many people wind up kind of not being able to see the forest for the trees in thinking that EMDs really only can be a combination of keywords that people would search for as opposed to a business name. When you treat them as a business name, they typically rank much better, and you can do a lot more with them. Okay, so a lot of people who build EMDs lose track of the fact that you can build inner pages on an EMD and rank it for a lot more keywords than just that main domain name. But the reason that we like to get the keywords specifically within the domain name is that is the most influential place that you can get keywords as far as the SEO goes. So because it's right here, Google does not know whether or not you're actually building a website about keywords or this is a business name. So if we treat it like a business name, Google is, they love to rank brands. That's one of the things that the algorithm's really set up well to do. If you've got a brand name, you're going to rank pretty well for it. That's actually kind of, if you start to think about one of the ways we test to see whether a site is indexed, we type the actual domain name in the search bar, and if it comes up first, we're usually in pretty good shape. That's because it's potentially a brand name. If you're not ranking number one for your own brand, you might have some problems with your website. So that's why one of the reasons I like to use EMDs still. So I'm going to hop back over and check questions. We have any about this, and then we could maybe put together some other scenarios here about ranking for more keywords or ranking a different type of site that may not be kind of a branded EMD type thing. Okay, cool. Got some stuff in here. Let's see what we have. All right, Jess, about PBN and safe settings, fake name generator, and that kind of thing. Okay, yeah, so that's something that I really have not done a lot of. Moving forward, we're going to try to probably implement that across a lot of our websites, PBN sites, but I really haven't had the time yet. So we've got about 150 PBN, somewhere between 150 and 200 PBN sites that we own, and I just haven't had the time to go through and get that all in place on all those. So really can't speak to that too much right now. But if you treat your PBN well as far as content goes and setting them up along most of the guidelines that we have, you won't be in trouble currently with needing the fake name generator. I think it's a safer way to go, but currently that's not a requirement to keep your PBN safe. Jeremy B, if you set up a PBN or 10 for client X, is it possible to over-optimize by having too many PBNs? Not really for having too many PBNs. The anchor text can potentially get you in trouble. So if you had the exact same anchor text coming from each of those sites going to the money site that you're trying to rank, your client's site, you absolutely could get into trouble. So if you are at that level 10, I would definitely have some variability in your anchor text. Have it not all your exact match keyword. So have some variation, like with the window repair Scottsdale. You could have window replacement Scottsdale, Arizona, window company in the Phoenix metro area, window repair with no, Scottsdale word on there. Typically, the longer the search phrase that you're trying to rank for, the more variability you need to have in your anchor text. And that comes all the way back to what we talk about with Google being a probability-based algorithm. It really just needs to have more variability because there's less and less chance that a high number of search phrases that people are typing in will be the exact same if there are multiple keywords. So, all right, that was from Jeremy. Okay, also got talking about vSilo. I noticed that my videos stopped getting comments. This has only recently started happening to my new sites I've been building over the last month. I know WP updated to 4.3, so I looked over all my settings and can't figure out why the comments aren't populating. Have you ever had your team run into any of these issues? No, if that's with vSilo, no. As long as there's a checkbox that, or it's not a checkbox, it's actually in the general setting for vSilo when you're setting it up. Oh yeah, go for it. Bring them back. Don't take off my keys. So if you're setting vSilo up the first time, you need to make sure that you've got essentially kind of those short codes for the different pieces of content in there. So you can have the video description, the title, the HTML embed, and the comments. If you don't put comments in there, it won't go pull them. It's also possible that the video just doesn't have any comments. So the search queries may just be in a fairly, I guess, non-socially active kind of community or keyword grouping. There's a lot of videos out on YouTube that certainly just don't have comments. And if there are no comments, there's nothing for vSilo to pull when it runs that query. But if you've got your settings set up properly, that shouldn't be a problem. If you know for a fact that the video should have comments, you've got the short code in place, that'd be a question to send to Network Empire support. They've got a pretty good support system over there for any technical issues with their plugins. Okay. Outranking our sites. Not sure outranking our sites, what that would mean, Eric. I'm looking to see if maybe there was something you said earlier that connects to. Doesn't look like. If you could kind of expand on that and let me know a little bit more about what you're actually asking about there, I'd be happy to answer. All right, Jeremy B., I know very little about WordPress. Is it hard to embed videos using it on sites? It's been my experience in talking to YouTubers and whatnot. The video marketing can be quite a lucrative idea. Yeah, I really like videos, Jeremy. It's very simple. You're going to use something called an iframe. So it's just a short piece of code that essentially you don't even host the video yourself. It's essentially kind of just a window looking over to that YouTube video or Dailymotion video or Vimeo video. Iframes work on all those platforms. They work on pretty much any URL. But with the video, it's very simple. Tomorrow? All right, bud. So yeah, you'll use a piece of code called an iframe. You can just look that up in Google. There's a website called W3 Schools, which is pretty good place, I guess, on lack of a better term. It's a good place to go find technical information about any kind of pieces of code you might have. It's HTML or CSS or anything like that. We use it quite a bit for stuff. I don't know coding language at all. I just have to copy and paste. It's about all I can do. Wayne, how many pages do you typically set up on a money site before sending links? I usually, if I'm doing vSilo, I'll build out, a 50-page site in a day, no problem. If I'm building sites out with just regular standard content, I'll build probably 5 to 8 content pages before I really do anything with the links. Not certainly that's not a rule, but I haven't had any problems building sites out that way. Okay. Oh, it looks like I kind of skipped over a question here from Wayne. How do you determine good link velocity to a new money site? I usually kind of pace it with the keyword volume. So if it's a very large search term, your link velocity can be much higher than it would be. But I usually like to try to get some people on my site before I build a lot of links to it. I think that looks a little bit more natural. So I'll usually try to get traffic to my site before I start building a lot of links. After I get traffic, then the links help the ranking. I get more traffic. I kind of pace it that way as well. Okay. All right, Monica, we can keyword research and what is anchor? So your anchor text, essentially, if we kind of go back over to this, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the actual code here for an href and grab this. I'm actually going to W3 Schools to grab it because, like I said, I can't code for the life of me, but I'm pretty good at copy and pasting. So put that there. Okay. So this is the standard formatting, Monica, for what a link looks like. Okay. So it's, you know, your point of bracket, href equals. Now the URL is the website you want the link to point to. Okay. So in this case, it would be http www.window repair Scottsdale. Okay. So that's going to be inside these little quotations. Okay, then this link text, this is where your anchor text goes. So if we wanted to use window repair Scottsdale as the anchor text, this piece is going to be your anchor text. Most of the time, this is going to be very related to the keyword you're trying to rank for. And that's going to be your keyword research. So I use a piece of software called TLKT, stands for the last keyword tool. It's another piece of software that Network Empire puts out. It's my favorite keyword research tool to use, but you don't need it. You can certainly go to use the keyword planner tool from Google, which is free, and they can give you keyword suggestions. One thing I will kind of caution about, or just give you guys a little bit more background information, the search volumes that Google will tell you are inaccurate. They are not what actually exist, and are only, in all likelihood, probably about half of the keyword search volume that's out there. There are a lot of keywords Google reports no search traffic on, but they do get searches. There's just a lot of variability in what people actually look for. So building a site that has a little bit more content, a little longer articles, maybe a couple different H tags if you've got, you know, headings on some of your paragraphs. Those are all going to be things that help you rank for more keywords than you realize. In all likelihood, you won't track keywords that, you know, if somebody had searched for Anderson dual pane window repair, Scottsdale, Arizona, in all likelihood, probably several people a year type that in. Okay. And there's a myriad of window companies. There's a bunch of different types of windows. Those are all things people search for. So the more information you can have on your website, in all likelihood, the better you're going to rank for those long tail variations. Very often there's little to no competition for them. So just getting them on your page, in all likelihood, you're going to get some traffic for that stuff. That's the only other thing I would say about kind of keyword strategy is just that, you know, the best information we have is from Google, but it's not accurate. So don't shy away from a keyword that you know is probably getting traffic just because Google says there's no search volume for it, especially local. All right, where are we here? All right, Mikhail, a site like medium.com where you can post an article, does that work like a PBN? Very well can, Mikhail. I'm not familiar with this website. I could pull it up real quick and have a look at it, but in all likelihood, it's going to work for getting you some link juice. I use other kind of platforms like that to get backlinks, you know, especially in topics that I'm pretty strong in. So I still do very, very well with home improvement, especially anything related to energy efficiency. So I can, you know, write an article and post it on like the U.S. Green Building Council. I've got an account there, and I can author articles on a, you know, DA 85 site that's all about energy efficient home improvement. So I use sites like that not only for direct traffic. If somebody reads my article, likes it, wants to go to my website, they can do that. But also the backlink that I get from those. So it's something called usually guest posting. If it's on like a topic or like an industry topic. There are also just very general websites out there that you can get backlinks from in the same fashion, and the same rules apply. You want to make sure that your backlinks have good anchor text and that your content is about the thing you're trying to rank for. Okay, where were we here? How's Mikhail? Okay, Mikhail, can you talk about how you keyword searches? Yeah, with TLKT, you essentially just put in a seed keyword, and it will go out, find that search volume, find related keywords for you, pull them all back at one time. I really have gotten more and more kind of set in my ways, and I still have not found the limits of how much money I can make in just a couple niches. Those are travel and tourism, building trades, and now online marketing, of course, with SEO. So I really, for my projects, I don't venture out that much. So I already pretty much know the keywords, and I don't go out and rank for a lot of new stuff. So the only time I will use a lot of keyword research is if I'm going to try to build an affiliate website, or if I've got a client that really wants to know more about their industry. But most of the time, I'll use a combination of keyword tools, and also I will go to websites that are somewhat authoritative in the industry or the niche, and look to see what they have articles and page titles about. Also what the URL structure looks like. A lot of times you can pull keyword ideas out of competitors' websites. So I think that's a very strong strategy that really will help you get more familiar with your industry as well. So I think a lot of people overlook it because they just want to hit buttons and get a list of keywords. I think they probably miss a lot of keywords that way, though. All right. Hi, I'm new. I have a basic question. Show Hybe. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that at least somewhat close. I'm sorry if I'm not. I'm new. Basic question. If I want to point 3 PBNs to one money site, that means I have to purchase 4 domain names. Yes. Also names has to be in the same niche, like Fremont Plumber and Fremont Plumber and Fremont, and so on. Thank you. Okay. So your PBN sites. This is actually a really good question. It'll let me kind of talk about this a little bit more. So let's go back over here to what I've been sharing. So it might have helped if instead of calling this PBNA, this was an expired domain. Okay. So if you're brand new, you'll know more about this when you get into the training on buying expired domains at auction. Greg has a great tutorial on that. So this website, ideally would be about something about plumbing if you're trying to rank a plumbing website. But we're just going to keep this page about this window repair site. So this could be like it could be home repair pros, okay, .org. Maybe we found that, and whoops, repair pros.org. Okay, so in all likelihood, this is going to have been a site that was up and running and would have probably backlinks that were related to home improvement, which is going to make this a very, very strong PBN site for something like Window Repair Scottsdale down here to rank for. Okay, but maybe this site, maybe we weren't as lucky and we didn't find a site that had anything to do with home improvement. Maybe this was Radio 93.7 Austin.net. Okay. Maybe it was some, out of business radio station that the domain name just came back up for sale. And so maybe all the backlinks going to this are about radio or about some local event in Austin, Texas, or random stuff, right? Have nothing to do with window repairs. Certainly nothing to do with Scottsdale, Arizona. But just because the backlink's coming into this website, whoops, I thought I saved it, but I didn't. Darn it. See if I can remember what I called it. Radio 93.7 Austin.net. Let's just say okay. Okay, so the backlinks that would have come in here, from somewhere else, they may have had anchor text that was about a radio station, Austin. Okay, may have had another. Let's take this. Maybe another link that's coming in here would have been Maybe it was a country music station. Okay. Country music, Hill Country, which is the region in and around Austin, Hill Country, Texas. Okay. So, oops, let's just do that. Okay. So just because the anchor text coming in here is not about window repair does not make this PBN totally ineffective. This PBN is still going to be a good site. Still going to be able to push link juice for window repair down here to your money site. It's just not going to be as appropriate as this site was. Okay. So most of the time, most people's PBNs are pretty random. They have very little to do with the actual money site they're trying to rank for. But when and if you do find sites that are related to the things you're trying to rank for, most of the time, you're going to be good to pick them up because they're going to help push a lot more appropriate link juice. Here, let me just go ahead and name this. Home repair pros.org. Safe. Okay, so a site like this is, in all likelihood, the anchor text coming in here is going to be stuff that's related to like home improvement. And so you can kind of start to see a site like this, whoops, stretched out a little more so we can actually read it. A site like this is going to have more power in all likelihood than a site like this. So hopefully that makes a little more sense if you haven't started kind of getting into those expired domains. All right, Terry Fletch, how's it going, man? I was wondering what software you're using for that mind map. Sorry if it's been asked. No, it's I think this is called X-Diagram. I'm on a Macintosh. I don't know if they use it for PC or not, but I really like it. It took a little while. I bought about, I don't know, half a dozen different drawing programs like this, and this one seems to do what I need it to do. So this is actually the same software that I use to keep track of my link building. I'm a very visual person. I kind of like to see what I've got going on. So if I've got PBN set up that I'm backlinking to multiple money sites, it helps me kind of identify footprints potentially. It helps me diagram any kind of domain authority stacking, structures that I'm building, all that kind of thing. So I use, kind of graphing softwares like this quite a bit every day. All right. Hey, Fletch, thank you. All right, cool. Eric, outranking your competition sites on Google. So pretty much just following our instructions, Eric, will get you the best ranking. There are a few different kind of methods to go through and actually analyze your competition, but I really haven't identified any that are super reliable as far as knowing what it's going to take. So you can kind of start to look at the domain authority of the people ranking highly, how many backlinks they have, whether or not their URL structures are set up and optimized for the keywords they're going after, how big their websites are, meaning how many pages they have, and certainly the anchor text coming into those pages. Those are going to give you an idea of what you might have to do to beat them. Because remember, if you've got better metrics or signals that Google picks up, then you are going to outrank them. So it's just mostly a matter, like I said, competition is the name of the game here. If you beat your competition with your metrics and you are not over optimized, you will win. If you do not, you will not. Kind of goes back to that picture I posted in Facebook about the poker. Kind of the blind spot a lot of people have when playing poker is they think that they got beat because they were unlucky. There is no luck in Google. It's math. So you either come out ahead or behind, and it has nothing to do with luck. So if you just kind of follow the instructions on over optimization, make sure you don't get that. Then it's just a matter of building until you have more than your competitor does. All right, today, hey, Fletch managed to just make it in. Good to see you here. What's a better option if I have brandeddomain.com for my SEO site? Is it URL.com, my city SEO, or URL.com SEO, my city? They both work pretty well. One of the things you'd want to think about is whether or not you want to, well, even that doesn't matter. They both work, I would say, pretty close to equally well. CottonGrammar.com, he uses the first option there pretty much for the way he builds his inner pages to rank for different cities. I went the other way, so I've got this in place. They both work really well. So you won't go wrong either way as long as you pay attention to your anchor text after that. All right, no name here. Any idea how to fix this page so I can see the chat box? No shields in Firefox or Chrome. No, not sure. I'm not sure exactly what you got going on. Meaning, yeah, if you're in Chrome or Firefox, you should be able to see this. I've had, I don't know, several thousand people on here since I started doing this, and it seems to work. So you may just need to refresh your page if you're getting the video. I don't know who this name is. So evidently you can see the chat box because you've entered something here. So I'm not sure exactly. Monica, I have Command Center. Yeah, Command Center does keyword research. I just haven't used it for that. So I'm not sure. It's all based on the keyword planner tool from Google, though. Most every keyword tool or software uses the keyword planner tool as its where it fetches data from. That was from Andrew. Yeah, so I'm not sure on that, Andrew. What's going on there? Okay, Wayne, follow up to how many pages you build. You said you build up to 15 a day. How can you strive how you develop content for that many pages? Oh, I build more than 50 even, Wayne. If I'm building that many pages, though, it's in all likelihood going to be vSilo. vSilo goes out and grabs YouTube videos and descriptions and comments for you, and so it builds your content for it. My demonstration website that I've shown the group for silo structure that I use a lot of times in local, milehighplumbing.net. You can go check that out. I haven't really done anything to content on those pages to get that put together, so it's pretty much exactly like it would come out of eSilo right now. Still ranks strongly. It's a site I built about a year ago, I think. Really haven't done much with links, maybe a few handful that I've built. So yeah, when I'm building these bigger websites in one day, I use things like vSilo to get my content for me. All right, Fletch, with a site like Window Repair Scottsdale, which is presumably a lead site, are you being the advocate for people looking for window repair, or are you creating persona you'd like to use, wondering how this works on Facebook, Twitter, etc.? With those social profiles, a lot of times what I'll use them for is just syndicate content out. So if I have a new page, I'll take a snippet from that page and post it on Facebook to give myself a social signal. I set up lead gen sites, though, really in two different ways. One of them is pretending to be the business doing the work. Okay, so that's a way that most people build their lead gen sites out. They're essentially trying to, well, it is trying to fool a searcher into thinking that you know, the website belongs to the person who's going to do the work. I actually have had a lot more success. I've talked about this quite a bit, but I've had a lot more success setting my sites up to be an advocate for the searcher, for the person in the market, so that I can be offer third-party advice, talk to them about the differences in, you know, dual pane versus triple pane, low E glass, fiberglass frames versus vinyl frames, all that kind of thing. And you know, we work with a local contractor in your area. If you give this number a call, it connects directly to them, but we want to get this information out to you and be a third party, you know, regardless of what you choose to do. You know, we wanted to make sure you had the information you need to make the right decision. So I've actually had better conversion percentages on those sites where I'm just very clear about the role I play. And so in those capacities, I can also syndicate content out to those third-party platforms in line with that. So I also like it better because it just seems a little more honest and genuine. And so I really don't have to, you know, okay, now I got to think that I'm a business owner in, you know, Tucson that repairs swamp coolers, you know, just different to think about. Okay, where did we go here? All right, Jeremy B. Where can we find all the necessary and secondary software that we're going to need, cPanel, Aweber, etc.? Most of the time it's going to come installed on your hosting accounts, Jeremy. So Cotton, actually, his webinar this week, I noticed, is a simulation webinar, which will be tomorrow night. He's got Steven, I think, and Derek both on, and they're going to talk about all the pieces of software that they use when they're setting up their any of their SEO projects. So that'd be a great thing to make sure you want to check out as well. But specifically, cPanel comes installed on your hosting account, and Aweber is just a third-party email autoresponder provider. All right, Monica, how do you keep track of all you do to each site and you get reminders of what to do to check? At this point, the tracking is probably the primary function that I perform on a day-to-day basis. We've got, now that I've got really two people that are pretty much full-time with me doing SEO. One of them is a statistician, and he also is an SEO. So we run everything that we do through statistics packages. And we are going to be able, as we move forward, to have better data than pretty much anybody on the planet as far as what it takes to rank. And it's nice because, we can share that with OMG as well. But the tracking is very important. It's not important. Well, it's always important. But the more you plan on scaling, and the fact that we own all our own projects for the most part, I own, most of the sites that we rank. I don't have clients. If I had clients, it wouldn't be quite as important just because I wouldn't be stepping on myself later on. If I had a client for 12 months, they may leave. I really don't have to worry about what backlinks I built them at that point. With my projects, I do. So the tracking for doing lead gen or affiliate marketing, I think, is even more important than it is if you have clients. All right, Mikhail, my dentist is already last on page 1. Google, can I suggest ideas for ranking better? Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, anything that we do in line with kind of our training, Mikhail. So it's possible that they have not optimized their on-page stuff. Their title tags are really not set up the best or as well as they could be. It's possible they just don't have enough good links going to their site to get it to rank higher. It could be a bunch of different things. It's possible that, they're just on page 1 by default, because there's no competition and they really don't have anything hardly right other than the fact that there's just no other dentists around that are trying to rank for that keyword. So it could be a bunch of different things. You'd have to just kind of look at the site, and go through kind of understanding what we do on page with SEO, and also look at the backlink profile. Use something like Moz or Majestic, or Command Center to analyze the backlinks going to that URL. Okay, Monica, you have to open 2 windows because one shows the text and the other does not. Okay, that might be in regards to the question we had about the chat box. All right, Jovan, how many PBNs are good to start with for SEO client consulting purposes? 10 you're going to get some results out of for sure. If they are different, if you've got a handful of different clients, with 10 PBNs, you can rank, but quite a few clients. You can make a significant amount of money with 10 PBN sites that are in good shape. So don't worry about. Try not to worry about like how many you need. If you've got 5, use 5. If you've got 3, you can use 3. I mean, a lot of ranking sites that I have locally, I didn't need more than 3 or 4 good links going to get on the first page of Google. So it kind of depends on the type of client you got. If you're going after an injury attorney in LA, you're probably going to need a lot more links than you would if you were trying to rank for a plumbing repair person in Flagstaff, or somebody that rents skis in Denver, that kind of thing. Okay, that was Javon's question there. All right, Andrew, regarding chat box issue, I switched to Safari. I can only see half the chat in the browsers, in other browsers. Thanks. Okay, interesting, kind of crazy. We'll do some more tests on it, Andrew. I'm sorry about that if it was bugging out for you. But all right, Andrew, what's the difference between renting a site and lead generation? Of a friend who wants me to generate leads for a share of each sale, but have no idea where to begin. I'm currently going through 2015 over the shoulder, and I'm not looking for shortcuts. Just hoping to get my first client with consulting primary training. Yeah, the difference between renting a page and lead generation is conversion. So if you're ranking a page and somebody wants to rent it, they essentially put their information there. You're not responsible for how many calls they get or anything else. All you got to do is keep that page ranked, and you should continue to make the money. It's a model I've heard called, and I usually call rank and rent. If you're doing lead generation, you own all the content. You're responsible for not only ranking that site, but getting a phone call or a form submission or something like that out of that visitor. So it takes more skill and more time, more resources to do the lead generation part of it, because you are responsible for conversion. So you should charge more for it. Rank and rent, typically you're not going to get as high a dollar value out of, but you don't have as many responsibilities as well. That's the primary difference I see between those two models. All right, Walt, do you use Network Empire software tools besides Video Kraken? vSilo, Social Explosion, and TLKT. I've also gone through all of their certification levels, and including their live certification, which they had out here in Scottsdale earlier this year. So I'm pretty well versed on their training and software. Fl1Tch. I'm new to SEO. What's PBN? What do they do? Okay, so back over here on this diagram, which you guys I know have been seeing this whole time. I just clicked back over because I was reading questions. But PBN site is essentially a website that we own and operate for the purposes of getting links back to our money site. So the money site is the thing here we're trying to rank. A PBN site is something that we're going to use to point links back to the money site to get it to rank. Okay. So, you know, if we were actually, this would be a better way to do this. Let me just do this real quick. Take up a lot of room though, but we can have that in place. And then if we do the same thing here, we're going to essentially have this as the anchor. I'm going to take that out. Okay. Put that here. Boom. Okay. And then we don't need this target in here either because we already know where that link's going. I'll just clean up this diagram a little bit more. So PBN site is just a website we own. We have some content on here, like an article. We have a link coming out of that article with anchor text that's pointing to the money site that we're trying to rank. Quickest and easiest description I can make for a PBN, what a PBN is. Okay, Mikhail, hey Fletch, what is vSilo? vSilo is a piece of software that creates websites pretty quickly. So what it does, you put queries, essentially search phrases into the software. It's a plugin for WordPress, and it goes to YouTube and does a search with that keyword and finds a result, grabs that video, grabs the description, grabs the comments potentially, and then puts those on your site. And it's a quick way to build a website, get content indexed very quickly, and it'll, you know, you can rank those things pretty fast too. Certainly not greatest for conversion, but as far as building out sites pretty quickly, it's a very efficient plugin to use. All right, PJE. Whoops, where did we go here? PJE, do you build websites, money and PBN? Good grief, this thing's going everywhere. Money and PBN for all your SEO clients. I'm new to SEO. Yeah, I actually haven't really scaled our SEO business out that much, PJE. Most of the income that I've had, you know, since I got involved with online marketing has been lead generation. So I own most of my websites. And so, you know, because I own them, yeah, I build them. I built almost everything that I've had up until a few months ago when I brought somebody on that's took it on himself to kind of start to learn how to do that. And so now he's responsible for most of the build outs that we do. And then I'm working with bringing an outsourcer on so we can kind of scale that on up as well. But, you know, if you are new and you just are kind of starting to feel around and see what's going on. So that's my business model, right? Cotton is very heavy. I think almost all of his SEO money comes from clients. And he essentially just ranks them. He does not build their website. They have to have a website. He essentially just makes that website rank. There are other people who do everything. You know, we're at the search explosion. We're probably going to get into some web design as well. So a bunch of different ways to make money with this. All right, Uday, I didn't quite understand what you were saying about the country music station PBN linking to the repair site. Did you mean to say that all the PBN should have the same theme as the money site? It's helpful if they do, but it's not necessary. Okay, so the country music website that we had here, Radio 93.7 Austin, in all likelihood, the anchor text coming into that is going to be related to, what the website used to be. So once we have it, we're going to want to put an article on it about window repair that we're linking out from to go to our money site. Okay, but just because these links that are essentially second tier links coming into our money site are not about window repair, we're still going to be able to get use of a lot of this power. Even though this country music, Hill Country, Texas, has nothing to do with window repair, we're still able to take advantage of this power. That is the primary reason we use PBNs. Now, ideally, yeah, you've got power that's actually about the industry that you're in, trying to rank for. But this is a very rare situation. I have only a handful of sites that are really set up this way. Most of the sites I have are more like this. They're just kind of random. They have a ton of power. They have clean anchor text. This is not something that was, somebody spammed all out and tried to sell Air Jordans on or, Viagra or anything like that. But very infrequently do you get backlinks coming into a PBN that are exactly like the links you're going to build out to your money site. All righty. Phil, I did reload page and the chat box now shows correctly. Okay, good. All right. Hey, Fletch, would you say that you say R&R is better for something like jewelry store retail? That's rank and rent probably. For a jewelry store retail, but lead gen's better for something like window repair services. I would think so. I really haven't thought about it too much. I think most of the more professional services, lawyers, dentists, all that type of thing, you really need some branding in there. So you need to have the business information on the page. So rank and rent, I think, for anything like that is going to be better than straight up lead gen. It's been my experience as well. Conversion is very hard with professional services on those things without their name and phone number and face. But all the PBN and on-page SEO to rank, the site is identical. Yes. Yeah, all the SEO approach is going to be identical for rank and rent or lead gen. Choice for whether to go with rank and rent versus lead gen. Simply dollar value per client in the niche. Yeah, it also depends on the niche. Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head there for the most part. Right, Douglas, R&R versus lead gen was my question. I added my name now. Oh, great, Douglas. Thank you. Yeah, you've got it right. I think that there are industries definitely set up better for lead gen, construction being one of them. It just happened. That's what I came in with. I had a construction company, so I knew that industry pretty well. All right, Terry, do you have to use one PBN site for one company or keyword, or can you use a different page for different keywords on the same PBN site? Yeah, you can absolutely put a lot of links coming out of a PBN site. Most of the time, we use PBN sites with a post as opposed to a page. And so because of that, we can actually stack multiple posts on that first page of that home page of your PBN site. So in the training that Greg has on setting up your PBN and using your PBN, he actually shows you some of that, what it actually looks like. But it'll essentially look like just a bunch of articles on one page of your PBN site, the home page, the main page. And each of those articles will be about a different topic and point to a different website. So, and when I say different topic, they can obviously all be about window repair, but they'll be pointing to different window repair sites. Or they can all be about some general home improvement topic. And one may point to a site about window repairs, one a different site about plumbing, and one a different site about granite countertops or something like that. Okay, that was Terry's question. Okay, Wayne. Do you use vSilo or vKraken on money sites or just PBNs or both? Do you create any original quality content? Yeah, oh, absolutely. I didn't have, I don't know if they even existed. The first year and a half, I don't think vSilo or vKraken were even out. So I did all my own article writing and made my own videos for all my websites. I now do, I still write and produce videos, but I also hire third-party outsourcers to create some of my content for me. So just kind of depends on the only thing I really typically write much about, well, most of the niches I'm in, are my my SEO site here, Search Explosion, my eco-built construction website, and some of the travel and tourism stuff that I do, especially in Alaska, which is where I used to work. Okay, Danny, am I thinking correct, or am I correct in thinking that if I'm using 5 links from a PBN and I'm effectively reducing the strength of each link versus just sending 1 link from the PBN? No, that is not accurate. Your juice or your ability to influence rankings isn't really a finite quantity, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to visualize. I know analogies are not, David is not, you know, I understand where he's coming from as far as not using analogies to teach, but I really don't know of any other concept I could compare it to. Your link juice does not degrade with more links going out, or doesn't necessarily improve with more links coming in. Those are usually, they usually have an influence on them, but it's not a stepwise progression. It's really, it's a concept that's very hard to visualize. But no, 5 links coming out, they're all not going to have a 5th as much power as just 1 coming out would at all. Danny, what's the lowest end customer do you work with in regards to SEO feeds, leads, costs, etc.? Cheapest leads I sell, 15 bucks. It's a site that's been up for 2.5 years, and you know, gets a few phone calls a week, so it's a couple $100 a month. If for anybody who hasn't really watched my my videos I did for that we called the 60-day day job killer videos, when I started, I really had a hard time, and I think a lot of people do, but they don't identify it. I couldn't see building 1 website and making $10,000 a month off of it, and I needed to make $10,000 a month. I needed to be $100,000 a year. I had, you know, a wife and debts to pay and everything else. But what I could do is understand how to build a site that would make maybe $300 a month. Okay. And so, well, if I could make a site that made $300 a month, if I could build 50 of those things, I'd be at $15,000 a month. I was like, well, okay, I think I can maybe do that. So that's really kind of how I started doing SEO. I built smaller sites that I thought I could make some money on, and it worked. So I understand Cotton's perspective and his idea with you know, scaling, and I think it's spot on. Absolutely is spot on from his perspective. But we're both viewing things from our own perspective. My perspective was, hey, I'm going to build a bunch of cheap, easy to build websites. I'm going to rank them all, and I'm going to have assets that I can make money with long term. Cotton's is, how do I acquire as many high-end clients as possible, because that's how I get the most dollars per month. Now, his way makes, you know, he makes 10 times what I make. So, you know, who's right? You know, if it's a matter of how much money can you make, Cotton's probably right. But it doesn't mean that the strategy that I took is not valid, and it's not a good way for beginners to start. Okay. All right. Mikhail Fletch, SEO 101 is terrific. Help me understand foundational understanding. Thanks a million. Absolutely. Good. I'm glad. That was my purpose in that whole thing. So I'm glad it's working out that way. All right, Phil, do you kill off the old outgoing links on sites you set up for PBNs, or do you leave them so Google doesn't notice a sudden change? When you buy a site at auction, you do not get any of the content, Phil. So all you do is get that domain name. So you'll have links coming in. Any of the content, though, that would have had outbound links is gone. So, yeah, you can't really do much about that unless you wanted to go back and try to reinstall it from something like Wayback Machine or archived.org, which I have not done. All right, Praneet. Hey, Fletch, my portfolio built on Twitter Bootstrap framework is using github.io domain. Is there a way I could use SEO techniques on a non-WordPress site? Yeah, absolutely. Links are links, and if you got your on-page set up, I don't know that framework too much, but if you can control your title tags and your URL strings, throw links at it, and things will work. I see a lot of .ios ranking on for certain types of keywords, technical keywords typically, but yeah, it's just It's easier just because there's so many tools available for WordPress, but those other frameworks do work. We just don't, talk about them a ton. Douglas, is there a limit of articles per PBN? Is this tied to the max of 20? I think that can be shown on the homepage. I actually don't know that that's the max number you can have on one page, Douglas, if that's a limit that the WordPress CMS has. But most of the time we stay below that. I don't want to be too confusing, but there are ways to build certainly more links coming out of a site than just the 20 posts would allow you to do. But you're usually going to be pretty safe up to 10. 10, I think, is about where Greg recommends stopping as far as links out go. All right, Uday. In his training, Greg mentions that PBN should show the posts on the homepage. Do the links in each article need to appear at the top of the article so they are seen on the homepage preview? Or is this issue not important? I would assume we can place the links anywhere on the PBN article. Yeah, one of the settings you want to have in place is to show the entire article. Some themes do not allow you to do that. Those are themes typically that do not work as well for PBN. So you want to make sure that the theme that you use for PBN will allow you to show the entire article on the homepage. But yeah, you're thinking along the right lines as far as understanding that link needs to display on that homepage to get the juice to really flow out of it the way that it needs to. Okay, okay, no name here. On a newly acquired PBN that doesn't relate to the money site, do I add a page with relevant content and it has to link to the money site? Yes. Essentially, we add content. Most of the time, it is a post though, okay, not a page. In WordPress, those are technically just different kinds of content that we can make use of. We use posts on our PBNs most of the time. And then how about setting up a blog on a page in this PBN where I add content that points to my money site? Yeah. So again, kind of going back to the fact that we use posts most of the time for our content coming off the main page, then that blog is essentially the blog roll. It's going to appear on the homepage of the site. So yeah, you can absolutely build extra pages on your PBN. Nothing wrong with that at all. Those can actually link out to other sites and help rank them as well. The thing that you just need to start, that's one of the reasons I went back to this SEO 101 video. So that diagram that you guys are seeing there, that can reflect what you have going on a website as well. Those can be, supporting pages and inner pages and, posts and everything else on your website. So, link juice or power moves around through links. It moves around through anchor text. And so if you've got a website set up the right way, inner pages on that site are going to rank. They're going to have juice there. They're going to have power there. You can link out from them and rank other things as well. It's just that you don't need to be that complicated with a PBN for it to work. Doesn't mean you can't be, it's just that you don't need to be. So, yeah, a PBN site is essentially just a site. We use the word PBN to talk about what we use it for, but it can be as complicated as you want it to be. It can have 500 pages and, 3 or 4 levels deep of, pages and subpages and things like that. It can have all that. And effectively, link juice flows from it very well. If you think about, a site like adobe.com, one of the most powerful sites on the internet, it's a huge site. How much would a link from one of those pages do to move you up in the rankings for, video production or something like that, a keyword like that? It'd go a long way. Well, it's just the PBN site that we use. You can get a lot of good out of it with just using posts on the homepage. I kind of over-talked that a little bit, but I want to just be very clear about the PBN model is what we use because of it's incredibly efficient. It's the easiest, fastest way to get up and get rankings. It doesn't mean that's the only thing you can use though. But I think it's certainly the best place to start, and the best place, unless you're doing more than 25,000 a month, you really should look nowhere else. Okay. All right, Samira, I forgot to add my name. Okay, no problem. Oscar, what's the difference between vSilo and vCracken? vSilo builds out static pages, so it's a way to create your website architecture. vCracken is something that runs every so often. You can define how many hours or days it takes between times it runs, and each time it runs, it will create a new post. So if you have it set up to run every 4 hours, it will create a new post for you. That's what vCracken is. They're both plugins though that work on WordPress, and they're both built by Network Empire team. All right, Andrew, does your lead gen training cover the start to finish, referring to designing your game plan first? Yeah, it does. It's pretty much start to finish. It was not done over the shoulder, like the over the shoulder examples, but it does talk about everything that needs to go into considering how you're going to build your sites out, how you're going to rank them, what your ranking strategy is, some of the sales strategy that I use, all that kind of thing, and pricing as well. All right. Okay, no name. Your lessons have made things clearer than anything else I've watched in OMG. Oh, great. Thank you. I know you've covered this elsewhere, but please recover what is your preferred way is to find links for PBNs. Okay. But please recover what is your preferred way is to find links for PBNs. Yeah. So, well, thank you for that, first of all. So with the PBN site, you know, we talk about going into like Register Compass, okay? And we're looking, actually, why don't we just go ahead and do that? And what I'm going to do is just pull up, because this is something that I think everybody would benefit from. We've done this a few times, but let me just go ahead and log in here real quick. Way. I can't remember my password here. So I've got cleared out. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so actually, let's just go back. We'll go through the whole thing. So let me do I'm going to change the browser window that we're sharing here first. Okay. It's going to be right there. Okay, so now we should all be kind of looking at Register Compass here. So this is just one of the auction sites that we use to find expired domains. And one of the things we do when we are using this, I'm just going to set this up. This isn't probably the exact filters that you want to look for. But anyway, this will work. I'll just say that. I'm going to use just GoDaddy. And auction type is going to be public. So essentially all I've done here is said I want to find sites that currently registered in GoDaddy. Okay. I want to have a domain authority of over 20. I want there to be greater than 0, meaning there's at least one indexed URL on the site. And for it to be a public auction. It's pretty simple to do that. So I'm going to leave everything else out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a search here real quick and see what comes back out of here. So 16,629 domains. Okay. So if you just click this number, it'll take you over to the matrix for all these sites. Okay. So if we search, we can actually sort this by looking for like one of the metrics that we might want, which is Majestic Trust Flow. It'll think for a while and come back. So like this site here, which is ketchuprestaurant.com. Okay. It's got a Majestic Trust Flow of 35. Where is my domain authority? It moved around on me. It's got a domain authority of 35. And it's currently going for $12. Okay. So it's a site I would be interested in. So what I do, essentially I copy it. And then I go over and do some research on it because I want to see what these backlinks look like, okay? Sounds like it might have been a restaurant website or something like that. But if we just go into Open Site Explorer, it's the one I learned on. So when all of Greg's videos used to be about You just throw this in here. It comes back with DA35. Okay, 210 links, 476. That's a good ratio. We've got some social activity. Okay, cool. Dolce group. That's Dolce means sweet, I think, in Italian or Spanish. These are good. This is a backlink from Marriott. Eva's fast break from basketball. Let's do. I'm just kind of going through here real quick. Okay, so these look like good links to me. Okay, I'm going to go back up here to some of these bigger ones. This is a 301 redirect to this dolcegroup.com. So I want to open this in a new tab. Sure enough, forwards to this. As pending renewal or deletion. Okay. So in all likelihood, this Dolce group let this website expire and they haven't renewed it for whatever reason. I don't know. But their loss may be our gain. Okay, so it's a good looking website. What you typically want to do when you go to this, it's like, okay, I'm looking for a link that goes to Ketchup. You can go into the page source and do this if nothing comes up. Yeah, it looks like nothing's going to come up. It's not found. Let's see what that anchor text was real quick. That's TripAdvisor. Oh, Geisha House, Hollywood. So I tab that. Yeah, right there. Okay, cool. And if I click on that, sure enough, it takes me to Ketchup Restaurants. That link's still in place. So it's a good looking website. DA35, Trustflow 35, PA 46. So doesn't actually auction expire for 7 days, but I'm sure is that going to put a bid in on it. So to do that, we go to what is it? Go to domain auction. So go forward us over to auctions at GoDaddy. Okay, I bid $17 or more. I bid $35 on something like that. Continue to review. Let's go ahead and log in here real quick. Just says I verify that I'm submitting this. Okay. So I've been outbid. So somebody else has, found this and they placed a higher bid on it already. Okay. So if I want to bid higher, I can, and this price will creep up. But because it's going to go for 7 days, I typically don't. Okay. So I might come back. I might put an alert in my calendar to come back a week from now and see what this website's going for. But a website like that, if I'd have got it for $35, I'd have been happier than a, pig in shit. Pardon my French. But it happens. So that's essentially how you go about finding these domains. So when you go in and do the research, you'll go to, Open Site Explorer, and you'll start looking at these backlinks. So even though these backlinks are all about, random things, restaurant and stuff like that, you could absolutely use this site, nice clean site like this, to rank for almost any kind of keyword. So that's just kind of what you do. And so as you kind of get, so you're spending more and more time doing this, it becomes easier. You know what you're looking at. It's just a faster experience for the most part. So that's just kind of a little bit of a, over the shoulder tutorial there real quick on how to use an auction site and do some link research. So back up. There we go. All right, see what other questions we had in here. Ooh, we got a lot of questions now. All right, Danny, you want to put together a way to work with some low-end clients while eventually getting cotton level for one low-end client. Would I be able to use one directory type site nationwide, e.g. USA directory? As I find low-end clients, I can put them on the USA directory with their own page. Yeah, if you do that though, Danny, you really want to sit down and do some math. With a nationwide directory site like that, if you're going to use PBN links to rank those, mom and pop bakery, whoever you have on those inner pages, say each of those sites just need 5, because all of your rankings are going to be on one domain. Every PBN you use is going to need to be different. So that means you're going to need a different PBN for every link you have. Your PBN resources will not stretch very far if you follow that model. I'm not saying it doesn't work, and I'm not saying it's not a model that I employ, but it takes a vast amount of resources to do that. So really think it through if that's the strategy you're going to follow. But yeah, it does work. You really want to make sure that you're funded enough to get your PBNs in place to do that. All right. Kerfa 4. Okay, I guess I don't understand how backlinks work. Do they need to be clicked for them to be active, or are they automatically active because they are linking to your site? So yeah, they're active as soon as you place them. Okay. If you've gone through that SEO 101 video that I had, let me see if I can find it really quickly here. Yeah, that's not the one. That may not have even changed when I was looking up there. Yeah, it's a different window. There was a video that was on what does a link look like and how does a bot work. Okay, so as soon as the Google bot crawls over your page and finds that link and follows it to the target site, that link is essentially going to be noted, and it's going to go in the Google database and will start affecting ranking. Okay, so as soon as that thing gets crawled, it will have an effect on ranking. Sometimes Google takes a while before it actually runs the calculation or changes your rankings, but as soon as it gets crawled, it is in effect. All right, Wayne, how extensive are your social signals for your money sites? The active profiles just set up and left bare. I try to do stuff with them. I use Hootsuite to manage a lot of that. Not super good. I don't have a great system in place for that. That's something that's on the list of things to improve as far as my processes go. But yeah, not super active. That's why Social Explosion is so nice. It kind of gives you social signals on autopilot. But there are other ways to get social signals as well. Social Llama, you can buy social signals from there. A lot of different places you can get social signals from Fiverr. So I just kind of break it up, get a few things here and there. Manage my own, of course. And then the more shareable your content is, the better off you're going to get stuff. So Andrew, for lead gen, how long does it take for your sites to start ranking in major cities such as Phoenix or LA? You're probably good to think about 6 weeks, Andrew. You'll probably get some rankings before that on a new site, but for the stuff that has a little more competition, 6 weeks is probably a good estimate. You install vCrack into the main PBN or subdomain to keep the PBN site updated. I install it on the main site. I do a lot with subdomains though. I have installed and do install vCrack on a subdomain, but for the most part, I set it up on the main site. All right, today, haven't had a chance to work through your lead gen training yet, but just curious, do you usually build your sites for lead gen, or do you iframe your client site into your site? Now, I build my own today. And if so, is it a plugin you use iframe for your client site? No, I don't. So on my lead gen, I have all my own content and I do call forwarding. So I have my own phone number on, like this number up here. This is not my phone number. I own it, but like on the Search Explosion website, that is a phone number I have in my ACT dashboard, and that forwards to, right now it forwards to my salesperson. It was going to me for a long time, but I've got somebody to handle answering the phone for me now. All right, PJE. Okay, ditto on the comment about your training being uber clear and understandable. Oh, good. Pretty straightforward. Love it. I like Danny's question. I think it's smart, kind of almost like an externship training model where we can practice on smaller size clients. Do you or anyone at OMG provide an overview of our SEO techniques and outcomes, at least initially? No, not really. It's pretty much the over-the-shoulder examples are the clearest that we can make it. It becomes somewhat counterproductive and really nearly impossible to implement, just with the the size of the group that we have, to have that level. I certainly, there's no way that Cotton and Joe and Greg and I could even have time to do that and run our own business. And so if we can't run our own business, then we can't make sure that we stay on top of providing the best information possible. So that's why it becomes counterproductive to have that kind of level of like hands-on kind of stewardship, or whatever you'd like to call it. Yeah, aside from that, we just we make sure that we have pretty much over-the-shoulder training on almost everything that we do. Okay, Uday, when searching on Register Compass, you have a preference between GoDaddy, NameJet, or Snap? NameJet and GoDaddy I like better. I can't, honestly, it's been a little while since I bought any PBNs. I haven't used Snap. I try not to use Snap, just because GoDaddy's easy. I have one account there. I know how to use them. NameJet's not bad though. So also with GoDaddy, just because GoDaddy's running the auction does not necessarily mean that GoDaddy's the registrar. So you may still buy an auction through GoDaddy Auctions and have it registered somewhere else. Okay, Andrew, since Web2s are so powerful, can't we just charge clients to rank those for a cheap and fast way to start making money? Maybe Yelp link for restaurants. Yeah, if you can sell it and you can rank it, then do it. Yeah. One of the problems that you're going to find you have oftentimes on those Web2s is that their on-page factors are not set up properly. Like Yelp. Yelp is actually pretty easy to outrank just because they've got a bunch of random links all over the place, pointing different places. You really can't control any tags other than your main site tag, or not site tag, page tag. Andrew, is this being recorded? Awesome content. Yes, it is, Andrew. This content will actually be live here immediately after we finish. I will leave it live here on this site. You can come back and watch anytime between now and Sunday, at which time I will swap the video out for the current training that I do Sunday mornings for my players only office hours. But all this training will be put into the membership area as well. So that probably will not happen though until the end of the week. So if you want to watch this again tonight, go for it. Tomorrow, whatever, all the way up till Sunday, it'll be on my site here. You can just log in and hit play. So, and it's all private, so you guys are the only ones who'll be able to watch it on this site. All right, Terry, should I use Register Compass, Open Site Explorer, and Moz or OMG Command Center to find PBNs? Do the same thing. I honestly have not used OMG Command Center for finding domains. My understanding, it was pretty much purpose built for that, as well as everything else it does. So value wise, unless you got money to burn, I think Command Center is a great way. You get that one tool, and you pretty much have all your link research. You can find expired sites on there. You can track all your SEO moves. It's a great value. One of probably the best values I've ever seen. And it's not like a group buy either. So that's even better. So you're not really, stealing. Some of these times are these group buy things. You're essentially, cheating the owner out of stuff. All right, Ketchup Restaurant sounds like a great domain. Yeah, it looked good to me, Andrew. Ron, hello. How are you doing? Okay, Andrew, I didn't do it. Higher bid. Well, no worries if you did. I got plenty of sites. So, Terry, do PBNs usually only consist of one page? Guess you wouldn't want to build additional pages on PBN backlink from because they wouldn't have any backlinks. Is that correct? Well, on closer investigation, you can honestly find a lot of inner pages on expired domains that do have power, that do have backlinks. There are pieces of software that do that. It can be a good strategy, but again, it's kind of like we look at efficiency. Efficiency is you take the page that has the most page authority, which most all the time is going to be that home page, and that's where we build links out from. Okay, so we make use of the most powerful page on the site, build links out from there, and then we just move on. But that's not to say you can't make use of inner pages that used to exist, inner URLs that used to exist. You can go and find those in a lot of different ways. You can reanimate them, essentially bring them back and link out from them, and you can absolutely get link juice from that. Most of the time, though, a PBN site is a very small site. It makes use primarily of the home page and may have a couple other inner pages. All right, Margaret, I live in New Zealand. Is it preferable to find PBNs from New Zealand? Or does the country of origin not make any difference? .coms, .orgs, .nets pretty much work worldwide, Margaret. There are certain, like if you got a .com.nz site, that's going to be specific to New Zealand. If it would in all likelihood not work as well to rank a site in the US with a domain like that. But all that said, with a PBN site, because we do not generally install Webmaster Tools on there, Webmaster Tools has a control panel that lets you essentially say, hey, my site is for this country. All right. Because we don't install Webmaster Tools on our PBN sites, in all likelihood, a lot of the .nz sites would only be really usable for people in New Zealand as a PBN site. But any .coms, .nets, .orgs would be usable because they are worldwide TLD. TLD stands for top level domain. That's essentially the extension. Okay. In her name, how many years in age should an expired domain be to build a PBN? It doesn't necessarily need to be of any age. Typically like domains that are 5 years or more, just because they've got established links, and the links are probably not going to drop off as soon as you buy that site and repurpose it. But it doesn't have to be an old site for it to be efficient and used. All right. Hey, Fletch, I don't actually have a question, but this is my first live webinar. I just want to thank you so much for your training, incredible coach, and greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Makes me feel good. All right. Niam, hey, Fletch, I don't actually have a question. Oh, this was the post that just came through. Oh, great. Remember, you've got the painted face in your profile picture, if I remember correctly. So I'm glad you're on. Glad to have you here. All right, Drew. Hey there. Sorry if you mentioned this already, but I've been working. So in and out of the webinars, newbie. What are the first few steps to physically take to get started? I do have a website already, thinking of stripping it and converting to WordPress, and then practicing on it before I branch out. Anything else to consider as a first step? No, I think getting your money side of your ranking site built is the most appropriate first step to take. And I would get it converted to WordPress CMS, just because it's going to be a lot easier to follow the training and get everything else in place, plugins, all that kind of thing. So yeah, welcome aboard. And that's exactly what I would do. Okay. All right, Douglas. If I use one host for a 10-site PBN network for a particular niche and all the sites have unique IPs, is that okay in terms of footprint? No, it can actually cause a problem to have them all be hosted by the same company, Douglas. That's one of the reasons Greg talks about his other much more updated model for hosting PBNs, which is essentially you use cheaper shared hosting and only have a handful of PBN sites on each of those accounts. So do I never want all PBN sites to give a niche on one host? Yeah, I would definitely break those up and have them on multiple hosting accounts with different companies. All right, Andrew, how is Legion different than client consulting? If an auto mechanic wants me to build and rank a site, sounds really similar to rank and rent, albeit slightly different. But the only difference with Legion is that I control the calls. Yep, you control the calls, but you, if you're going to build a site for a client, then you got to worry about design and all that kind of thing. If you're just taking on a client to rank, they've already got a website built. All you're doing essentially is making sure that it's set up properly and then sending links to that. So yeah, at the end of the day, get traffic first. As soon as you get traffic, if you need to worry about conversion, then worry about conversion. But I really don't spend a lot of time on the look and feel of a website until I've got it ranking pretty strongly. I do put thought into it, kind of design what I'm going to go about doing as far as my, how I'm coming across, what my avatar is, essentially the person I'm trying to cater to or sell to make sure that I'm really set up in such a way to speak to them and to help them with whatever question they have. But yeah, I mean, they're all pretty similar models. It's just, can I go out and do client SEO now that I have done rank and rent and lead gen? Absolutely. And same token, Cotton could do the exact same thing. You can build sites extraordinarily quickly and own them and rank them and pardon me, and make money with lead gen. So once you get the skill set of ranking sites down pat, then you can pretty much do anything. All right, Terry, if I start with OMG Command Center Premium Package, can I still get an upgrade to the Ultimate Package for the same price down the road when business goes to that point, or should I start with the Ultimate Package if that's my best plan? I usually recommend starting as small as you can get away with, Terry. So if you're to the point where you're making 10 or 15,000 a month, an extra $30 isn't going to be, that big a deal. So that's what I usually look at. Taking off, Ryan? Right on, bud. Talk to you soon. All right, Douglas. So given where you are, where you're at with X number of PBN sites, how many hosts do you have to meet all your needs? Very curious. I don't know. I think we've got 20 or 25. But keep in mind, I have a ton of money sites. So that's how I break my footprint up. Most of my sites don't require many links. So I can have 40 sites on a PBN on a single host. Those are actually all going to be pointing to different money sites that are hosted on different hosts as well. So most of my hosting variability is on my money sites, and because I work in local SEO on pretty non-competitive keywords, most of my sites don't require a great number of links. So it does make it for a little more efficient hosting packages for me, but it's just a lot to manage. So okay, where are we here? And then Andrew, so you rank a site first and then work on conversion. Yeah, for the most part, Andrew. I find you're going to get yourself really held up unnecessarily if you work too hard on getting the thing to look good before it ranks. Conversion conversion technically is very different concept than most people have for it. Most people would consider conversion as, ooh, I'm going to build out, a nice header, and it's going to, have sharp edges and this color scheme, and this video is going to be here and that and the other thing. Conversion really is to make sure that you cater to a certain person, and when they land on your site, they take action that you want them to. So the only real work I do on conversion is making sure I understand the person before I build a site. So I try to understand the visitor before I build a site, and then I know I'll be able to kind of set something up that will work for that down the road. But I do want to understand the person before I build a website, or I may be totally off base with the keywords I'm trying to rank for. So that I do spend some time on that before I get the site built out. All right, Sheila Fletch, do you have any themes you have found particularly good for lead gen? I use Genesis Dynamic for most of my money sites. So there's a couple. Small Biz Press, I think, is one of the ones that I really like for kind of a small local business look and feel. It's a skin for Genesis Dynamic. All right, Terry, thank you for the SEO 101 videos. Really helps to start with a clear picture of what we are doing here. Good, Terry. Glad to hear it. All right, Andrew, with PBNs, do you use many hosts, or do you have multiple accounts with several hosts? Many hosts. I'm trying to think. There are a couple different companies I have 2 accounts with, but that actually was before that strategy took off. I have at times purchased entire people's PBNs who got out of the business for one reason or another, and so I just took over their hosting account most of the time. Danny, use privacy on your money sites. Most of them I do, Danny. Most of them I do, not all. It wouldn't really make much sense to put privacy on JoshuaFletcher.com or on. I think Search Explosion though does have privacy on it, even though my face is all over this thing. So, yeah, Google. I mean, if you're really trying to game Google, then you need to be anonymous with that footprint problem. But at a higher level, if you've got the right search result, Google is going to be shooting themselves in the foot if they wipe you out. So there are some things with footprints that don't don't necessarily follow the every site has to be completely anonymous to link to one another. Okay. I'm just saying that because, that means, we couldn't link from our own Facebook business page to ourselves, which wouldn't make sense at all. So it mostly comes down to when we have PBN sites, we're really building a network of links that we want to worry about that privacy protection. All right, Christopher, does the affiliate training cover how to make a money site? Sonia, I haven't even looked at that part yet. Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of training on making money sites for different types of industries, for different types of monetization. Rank and rent, affiliate. Both Cott and I here, pretty out in the open, have our SEO agency websites. And those are both built on Genesis Dynamic. They're both the same theme. We have some, definitely a different look and feel for it, but yeah, we have training pretty much on every kind of website you'd want to build. Iowa City SEO actually is a Genesis Dynamic install as well. All right, Andrew, do you link to multiple money sites from your PBNs? Seems the updated safe method suggests one-to-one link for PBN and money sites. I don't, Andrew. I'm very, very careful and meticulous with where I link to and from, though. I'm not saying I would necessarily recommend doing what I do in this case. Especially if you're just starting out, you may get, confused and wind up, creating a problem for yourself if you're linking the wrong ways. But yeah, you're going to be safer if you don't link to more than one site because you can't create any kind of a footprint that way. So that's one of the That's one of the reasons that recommendation is as such. All right, Melinda, what are your hosting companies to avoid for PBNs? The two I know of are Host9 and IP Networks is something. I've got a lot of sites there still, but we're kind of moving away from that. Generally, those are the two that I know we don't like. I'm trying to think of any others off the top of my head that are bad for PBNs. I can't think of them, no. I think those are the only two I can think of. All right, Wayne, do you use a plugin for privacy terms and disclaimer pages? No, I don't. I don't even have these pages on most of my sites. So I know a lot of people talk about how important they are. That they're not. They legally they might be. I'm not getting to speak about how if I'm breaking any kind of laws by not having a terms of service or privacy policy or anything like that. But you absolutely don't need them for ranking. Search Explosion doesn't have it. I don't think I have a page for any of that stuff. So. All right, Jeremy B. Haha, I'm going to need to go over this webinar a few times. It's priceless. Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. All right, Christopher, is there any training on how to strip a site and apply WordPress to an existing site, redesign the site? Yeah. If you've already got content on it, you're going to need to migrate that content off. So I don't know, depending on the WordPress, depending on what environment you're in, how would you go about doing that? Honestly, it's not something I've done. So depending on what your CMS is, if it's just an HTML site or whatever, I would imagine that there are utilities that can turn that into a WordPress database file that it could read, but I'm just not familiar with it. But then after you've got your content saved and ready for putting into WordPress, most of the time we just use a cPanel installer for WordPress, a script installer. So Fantastico or Softaculous or something, I think is the other one that they're pretty common in cPanel for WordPress. And then redesigning the site. Yeah, we have training on that too. Mike Hayden actually and Clinton Dixon have a whole program for that. They're both in OMG. All right, Robin, hosting, should I use SEO hosting or BizBuilder, but not companies like Namecheap, for example? Yeah, most of the time we're kind of moving away from this SEO hosting altogether, Robin. I use BizBuilder. Todd is extraordinarily well versed with SEO and PBNs and any kind of footprint issues. I've been very pleased with services from him. He's the owner of BizBuilder. He's an OMG. He helps out a lot with a lot of things. He's also the person that built Spider Spanker, in case anybody here may or may not know that. which is a plugin that we use to keep the bots from crawling our links from our PBN sites. But anything other than BizBuilder in the realm of SEO hosting, I would tend to stay away from. So I would use sites or hosting accounts like Namecheap, HostGator, Bluehost, things like that. All right, Terry, don't understand where the other 9 links are coming to if you only link to one money site per PBN. Okay, I'm not sure exactly which example that belongs to, Terry. In all likelihood, those were questions that were about a different type of scenario. So it may just be that they're describing a different scenario. So you trying to put those two on top of one another, they aren't adding up for you because they're not supposed to. That may be what's going on there. All right, today, a Fletch great webinar. It's always really helpful. I love the 101 videos, by the way. Lots of value. Okay, great. Cool. Thank you. All right, Robin. Okay, can one start with the smallest package and then move up as you get more money coming in? Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I couldn't afford to do anything when I started, hardly. So, and now money's not really, certainly not as tight as it was. It's a lot easier to go further. So yeah, I recommend not getting any financial stress on yourself for any kind of packages or subscriptions or overhead every month if you don't need to. All right, Andrew, wasn't Iowa City built on a different theme than Genesis? Nope, I built it myself. It's on Genesis Dynamic. Unless it's been changed. It could have been changed. Just go a quick peek. Iowa City. There's our video. There's our website. Yeah, no, that's Genesis Dynamic, and the skin we have is called the Director's Cut skin, but that installs essentially on top of. I lost my window here. There we go. Installs on Genesis Dynamic. All right, Terry, I was referring to this question, Andrew, 6 minutes ago. Do you link to multiple money sites from your PBNs? Seems the updated safe method suggests one link for PBN and dollar sites, money sites. Yeah. I would have to look at what Greg's training is to make sure I understand that I'm not giving confusing information. I can tell you that my PBNs have many more than one link coming out from them. But unless you really understand footprints, I think it is safer to start with just one link per PBN. If you're trying to rank your own sites or you have affiliate sites, you can get yourself into kind of hot water pretty quick that way. But yeah, you can make a lot more use out of a PBN site than one link coming out from it. As far as what Greg's training shows, in all likelihood is the safe method. That does not necessarily mean it is the most optimal method. It just means it's the one that's pretty much guaranteed not to get you in trouble. So until you really get your footing, get ability to rank sites pretty strongly down, I would recommend following a safe method so you don't wind up blowing yourself up. But sometimes you got to blow yourself up to learn. So, I had a bunch of sites hacked when I started and lost pretty much all my income pretty much overnight. So, you learn and go on. So if you do blow yourself up, you can always rebuild. It's pretty nice that way. All right, Terry, what do you think? Oops, where'd that go? All right, Andrew, okay, Director's Cut skin. That was what I was thinking of. Cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the skin is essentially a pre-configured set of variables for that theme. All right, Mr. Miyagi, so good to hear you. Glenn, glad to have you on, man. All right, we're in, about an hour and 45 minutes, it looks like. So, yeah, question velocity has certainly died down. If you got any last-minute questions, go ahead and get those in the box real quick here. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap up. I'll be running my regular Sunday players-only office hour, Sunday morning. And then right now, we'll plan on doing probably 3 of these sessions like this that will really be based really on that SEO 101. Certainly doesn't mean that, you can't ask questions like this on my Sunday hours, but we just wanted to really kind of open it up and flesh out some more of the material for this kind of series of videos for people, especially when they're first getting started out, kind of getting their bearings and understanding what's going on. I will tell you though, if you actually pay attention to some of the specifics I had in those videos, you're going to know and be able to apply much more than many of the more experienced people in OMG that really just did not take the time to fundamentally understand how links work, how we set up our on page and optimize things. So definitely worth spending some time learning this stuff, regardless of whether you're brand new or are kind of coming back and revisiting some of these fundamentals. Okay, Robin, so with BizBuilder hosting, should one sign up under PBN or Weblify if I'm starting out with one money site? Not sure the Weblify. Yeah, you can always. It's been a while since I set a new account up with BizBuilder, Robin, so I'm having kind of a hard time remembering exactly what's going on there. You could always send a question to their account manager, either Todd or Marco pretty much answers all of the questions, but you can just say you're new in OMG and you want to set up a PBN, what package you might need. I think he's got different packages as far as how many sites he has, IP addresses and all that kind of stuff. Please, when in the member area of training regarding buying expired domain and building PBNs. This is probably where in the members area, buying expired domains and building a PBN. Okay, we can definitely, I can show you that. I'm going to do a quick screen share back over here. And where's my browser window? Let's see it. Oh, right there. Right over it. Okay, so now we're looking here. Pretty sure that now I've lost there's my mouse. Is that? Yeah. Okay. So Project Breakthrough, Juggernaut next look very, very, very similar. So this core OMG training, whoops. Good grief, quit highlighting everything. Under this section here is going to be where you find most of your stuff, okay? SEO Pillar 3, website supremacy, blog networks, and money sites. All right, so we're going to find all the training on expired domains, finding expired domains, hosting info, supremacy safe setup, WordPress settings, adding content, PBN overview course. This is from Stephen Floyd. All this stuff. This is all about PBNs, everything you could ever want to know. So there you go. Go back over here. All right. All right, Andrew, the old PBN training mentioned that we could use 20 to 50 max per PBN. New stuff mentions just 1-to-1, just clarifying. I use more than one. I'll tell you that, Andrew. I'm certainly not usurping Greg's training at all. It probably is just a much safer way to do that. I would follow Greg's training if you have a question about it. I'll put it that way. That's in general. If you've got a question, it means you're not at the point where you understand it fully. And if you aren't at the point where you understand it fully, the answer most of the time is in just to follow kind of the recommendation. So if Greg's made a recommendation and you're not to the point of saying, oh, wait, no, I really can do that, then you probably should just, kind of follow the training. So if that's what his current training is set up to do, 1-to-1, I probably should go back and watch that just to make sure that I'm on par with it. But I would follow that advice, Andrew, 1-to-1. All right, Andrew, awesome webinar. Thank you very much. Cool. Eric, any DAS tips you can give? Probably not the right webinar to do that, Eric. Yes, I can. Jump on Sunday. DAS it works, but you got to have your stuff right. Essentially, what the little SEO 101 here, apply that to your DAS stacks. It works, absolutely works. You don't have to know anything more. All right, Niam, muchísimas gracias, Fletch. Yeah, my Spanish is a little rocky. I think that's Spanish. All right, such a helpful webinar. You rock. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Praneet. Thank you, Fletch. Michelle, been awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool, guys. Very, very good. No problem. Thanks, Mitch. Cheers from Bangkok. Oh, cool. Like that. Christopher, how bad is it to have a .us site versus not too bad at all, Christopher. I actually see .us ranked on the first page sometimes. So it's a strong TLD. Don't worry about it too much. I got some .infos too. It's just that these three are a little stronger. Douglas, what % of lead gen clients contact you from find your local niche site versus ones that you contact market to after ranking them? Maybe 20%. I get referrals a lot, just in the trades, construction trades. You know, businesses talk. Pretty much everybody knows each other. So if you get in with a good group of, like if you get in with a trade that works with a building group like a general contractor, in all likelihood, you'll probably wind up selling leads to every different trade in that group, just because they all kind of work together. But other industries might work a little differently. I don't know. Ranking a site and sending phone calls to them is pretty much the primary way I have of getting new clients on board. All right, Julian, thanks for taking time again. Fletch, absolutely. Oscar, thank you. All right, thanks a zillion. I like it. Zillion's a good number. That's how much money I want. Jeremy, be awesome. Where's Pillar 3 in Project J? It's organized differently, Andrew. So in Project Juggernaut, it's going to be like module. It might be module 3. It's going to be whatever information. I think it's actually still called website supremacy. It's just the information on PBNs and expired domains. All right, Melissa, thanks a million. Thanks for next SEO 101 webbies. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. Thanks for being on tonight and for all the accolades and support for all this whole thing. Definitely glad you're part of OMG and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.